those revelation or indications. Again, I was inviting Nicole over for some prayer without disclosing any detail what's really in my heart to seek the Lord's for. I don't want to add pressure on you as well, but I know God always used you, has been using you for very meaningful things in our lives. So, and I keenly aware He used you. We don't brag those things. We don't share testimony. Try to draw attention to our gifts, whatever. But we're practicing it. We're receiving the gift. We see the fruits of it. So Lord, I just pray for Nicole now. I give you glory, give you praise, Lord, for you know that we are here. We really don't have agenda for our own making, if you will. But we have a great agenda. That is your agenda, hopefully, to build your culture, to fulfill your purpose, Lord, to care for the ones that you give us to care, and include those that you want us to include, and then be separated from things that are the world, things that you want us to be separated, Lord, and dedicate and invest our life in the things that carry generational ramifications, Lord, if not societal, cultural ramifications. We are an incubator, we are a seed, if you will, a garden, enclosed garden. But the enclosure, the seeding, incubator does means we're not of this world and have uses the world. Rather, the ultimate hope is that you can make us have impact and influence through the world. So your work redemption and reconciliation can be mightily and wonderfully accomplished. In this, I do pray for Nicole and even Justin, even the children. I know in Justin and Nicole's heart, it is a wonderful zeal, a relentlessly pursuit to serve you with the utmost, Lord. We honor that, we cherish that, we are encouraged by that, Lord. With that, you made us a family, and with that, we feel to become a body under headship, forms as a team in the ocean of man's confusion and even corruption, Lord. Continue to be our captain, to chart our course, and assign our roles to be led by you, and to cut through the desperation of manhood and the confusion and the corruption of the world, to more than reach the shoreline of your kingdom, but to be planters, dwellers of your household, Lord. In this we praise, in Jesus' name, amen, amen.
We saw one thing already. I saw something earlier, and I'll go back to that. But the thing I just now saw was I actually saw Noah as a baseball player, and I've seen him as a baseball player before in a different vision. He was in a car with the outfit on. I don't remember what happened there, but I remember him being in the car. We'll have to probably listen back. And he had like a red baseball cap and a baseball shirt, and something went on there. But this time, I saw something very distinct happen. I saw him with a baseball bat, and at first, somebody, it might have been you, was pitching to him, but it was underhand. Like as if he was younger. He wasn't younger. He was the same man he is now, but as if you threw the ball underhand to him, like, here you go, and he'd hit it hard out of the park. And so you knew that it was time for him to move on to a bigger person, something different to pitch to him. And so this time you have the machine, and the machine is pitching to him. And it's coming fast, and he's hitting it out of the park. And then he is in a position of like World Series thing, the seats are full, the pitcher's at the mound, and he's throwing it hard, and he wasn't ready for that yet. He was like hiding behind the bat, and the bat was breaking. Like I don't know if he had a fear of being in that position or not, or if he really was ready, but he couldn't do it yet. I don't know what his stance was, but you could see that he just wasn't, in his own mind, he wasn't ready to be there. Like almost hiding behind the bat as it breaks apart. So that's what I saw there. But as he's hitting these balls from this machine, I mean, he's just nailing it. It's going out of the park every time. He's not missing. And they're coming fast, almost as fast as the pitcher was pitching at the stadium. But for some reason, maybe the whole of it all made him nervous or something.
Yeah, I think it's more than this indicative about his response. I think about more speaking of the season he is in, which is machine feeding, so not man-made, but God designed. So passes the spirit youth into a spiritual training and strength. So
yeah, it was childlike.
Excuse me. Yeah.
When it was it started and then it progressed.
Basically, confirm everything I'm talking to him this morning actually. So.
Amen.
Sometimes he's grew up before us. Well, we think he's young land. Didn't recognize he's coming for serious age. You be seriously engaging things. He can handle it. More than handle it, will be good at it. So,
Amen.
But not yet in the bigger challenges yet. So You have a wording with you?
So.
Yes.
This is a little different. Just something small. So when you're young and you're little, at least when I was young and the children around me, we drew this picture. And what it is, it's this rainbow with crayon. It's this rainbow. You draw a rainbow.
I can see it actually.
And after you draw the rainbow, you draw with a black crayon over the entire picture. So you can't see the rainbow anymore. And then you take a sharp object and you draw a picture over it so that only the rainbow is coming out through the black where you drew. And so I saw this picture in this way. I just saw a man, I think it was Jesus, I don't know. But I saw a man who was once... The picture was drawn in the way that the man it was just white instead of rainbow, if that makes sense. As he's walking at first, it was just all white. And then it turns into rainbow underneath. I don't know if that makes sense as far as what I can see in my head. But I mean, that's as far as it got. I could just see him. But the layering of it is pretty important and significant. I'm having a hard time with it, but it's again a transition from when you are not you or the man. I mean, it might not be Jesus. It just reminds me of somebody from biblical times, maybe. I don't know. I can only see the back of his head. But to transform from just white.
White light.
White with the black on top and having him drawn and walking to the rainbow behind that. And then just seeing the layers of it. I can see the layers separated out. Like the white layer and then the rainbow layer and the black layer. I can see them all as separate individual pieces. And then they obviously all become one. And then something's created from that point.
That's crazy. something to do with Noah's game. So
Okay.
when I met Noah, you know our story a little bit. And my God sent him, not able to speak but clean to my chest.
Yeah.
So something special happened after that. Is sequence things happened. Ended up I was living with the parents back in all those things. So and one day, run into this. They were having a party basically. So birthday party for Noah. And this was recognized I had the same birthday. So it was the first time this I ever celebrated Noah's birthday. The first time I see Dan and Mindy actually. So and I come back to the door. Manny was there. Opened the door. And behind that there was a picture, and was a rainbow picture. I said, "Oh, that's interesting. Why the rainbow picture over there?" And Mandy looked at me. I thought I'm not familiar with the Bible. Don't make those click at all. That's Noah. Noah. Oh yeah, Noah was given the rainbow, right? So, oh, that's interesting. And then suddenly later on, recognize that's my birthday as well, and because of uniqueness, we know each other in the beginning. So I said, oh, is there something here, Lord? And the Lord certainly shared, yeah, you can have something to do with this young man's life. I went there because that kind of thing. I always feel God have up to something, but I don't necessarily know. I just think God, this young boy, wonderful young boy, definitely maybe God gave him permission to live with the parents. So I don't know what's next, right? So and on this occasion, suddenly I recognize, oh my God, we have the same birthday. So and his name is Noah, and I think there's something. I suddenly recognize, oh my God, my name is a boat on the ark in the flood. What? And I can't tell anybody at that moment. Later on, I decided, I already moved, I think, and Tim and Rachel back in Austin. Other things really prima to them. Somehow, the struck conversation, I was not there even. And Prima said, oh yeah, God wants you guys to move. Because of Noah. No, I mean, Anthony called every surprise. I thought she knows about Noah. She never heard Noah. She never know anything about that. The you know, Tim and Rachel have a song named Noah has a unique relation with me. So, and there are other signs wondering Tim while taking the phone call drew a picture for California, something like that, the map California. So the things that uncanny happened. I think there are other things as well. I'm not so sure. So eventually inspired them to move. So here I heard that story. As I said, okay, whatever it means. So I don't know anything. Just walking in. But it seemed, when those things happened. The only thing I can relate is Mary, Bible, Mary the mother saying Jesus, all those kind of signs, wonder showed up. You just treasure that. I don't really know what that means, So, I mean, because God didn't tell you exactly what's going to happen, you see, but you definitely know something is going on here. So, and well, on the other line, I've been started reading the Bible with him based on some commentary or exposition, and today we didn't even finish reading it, but we're in the middle of what story you think? Story of Noah. Is that crazy? In the middle, exactly the story about Noah. We're supposed to launch into his promises, to the rainbow promises. Mm-hmm. And you can't make that up, so yeah. This morning I had a wonderful conversation. I recorded most part of it, he had a vision about dealing, he had no idea, exactly your message.
Mm.
Selfishness. Want to deal with that. God give you vision actually able to destroy that. Then learn how to love others. It's God love us. So innocent die to self, old tendencies, so I don't know, guys. After something we don't. It's humbling, encouraging.
Mm.
Humbling make you said, oh wait, better not impose myself on anything. At the same time, encouraging make you work bold. Hope you understand the dialogue back there, So, on one hand, you don't know anything, you don't do anything of your own initiative, and on the other side, man, God is with me,
Mm-hmm.
If I just answer the call and go around in faith with his leading, well, something can accomplish, So I don't know exactly how it happened, but it's happening. So can't regulate, So that's a crazy sister. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord encourage you. May the Lord continue to expand more in your region, but expand your territory. The Bible said, there was a godly man said, can you expand my territory, expand my tent? So may the Lord do that to you. Expand your ministry. And I know you're asking depth, so Lord, expand your depths. Yeah, there's much more in the ways of God. You see, God, Moses just wanted to draw people in. He wanted people to be planted in the field, right? To become so fruitful. So, man. Well, I want you to pray for me. See what if God had vision. You don't have to use words. Maybe the Lord can speak through you. So a few decisions to make, practical decisions, but also some general requests in my own calling, to answer the season that ahead of me. So.
He's showing me something now.
The more walk with God, I just don't like to make decisions on my own anymore. Rather be informed, affirmed, and be told what to do. That's by God for sure. Lord, give you praise, give you worship.
I'm just gonna share what I see so far. It's ending up being too much detail for me to wrap my head around. I don't want to lose what I've already seen, because I'm trying so hard to see what all this detail's about that I don't understand. It's just random, but the first thing that I see is I see a desert, and it's not a flat desert. It's like a sandy desert with the mountains, the dunes or whatever they're called. And I see you walking up the side of one of these I guess they're hills or mountains or whatever. It's just different because it's a sandy versus like a real mountain.
I just watched some video on those things.
Yeah, so like that. So you're walking up the side of one, and as you get to the top, you see sort of in this little valley that there's this ancient city that's starting to become uncovered. And as you're looking upon it, you can see coming from the other direction that there's like an enemy approaching, like almost like a different military from a different like it's a war almost. And they're coming from this way. And as the ancient city starts to kind of rise up a little bit, it's a Chinese city.
Oh.
And so this other enemy is actually a different ethnicity as well. I don't know, but they're in like, I probably would have to look it up. Is it Mongolian?
Yeah, Mongolian. Yeah.
I just want to see what Mongolian armor
Maybe
looks
not
like.
Mongolian or Manchurian. So.
I just want to see what that armor looks like.
Okay.
So I have the right. Not Mongolian beef. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Predictive text.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
It'll be Manchurian. So.
How do you spell that?
Manchurian is MACHU.
IAN.
Yeah, they have the head. The outstanding feature is they have a long. It's called a pigtail, you know. So, so as it wears this weird top.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like this here.
Let me see. Because they're different age actually.
Well, yeah. It was kind of, well, no,
Different
that's not
era.
it. That's not it. Oh, it was more like this here. Maybe
Let's
like
see.
that.
Oh, that's not even Mongolia. That's a Chinese warrior almost like. Yeah, that's Mongolia maybe as well. So.
Where's Samaria?
Manchu. Say that. Could have said Manchurian. So. Oh, Manchurian. Look at that. All the Manchurians. This one. Like this? No?
Nope.
Where?
I was gonna look at one more thing. It was like a samurai almost, maybe.
Seriously?
What's a samurai?
Samurai is the Japanese people.
Oh. Yeah, maybe more like that.
Let me see.
I can't really find it yet, but it had the flaps on the side. I don't know what it was, but it has the flaps on the side.
Oh, that's it, samurai. Samurai armor. So.
Yeah. Anyway, they had this armor like that, and it was like that with the flaps on the side of it.
Seriously, like this?
Yeah, well, without the horns. It was just I can't find. Yeah, more maybe like that fake guy.
This guy?
Maybe more like that.
This
Not
guy?
metal or anything.
I see. See, wear basically armors, right? So.
What was that one? Oopsie.
Yeah.
This. Oh, farts.
This guy. Okay.
Yeah. Anywho,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's Asian army is a eastern region. Not many one race rare maybe so.
Yeah,
I mean,
these are really
popular, you know. So.
Yeah, and they're really like.
I think it's a Ming Dynasty maybe so.
Anyway. So they.
You attacked the
They
city.
came and they threw out a pathway on top of the city, they threw it out, and it was the head of a dragon. So,
Oh.
so this pathway over the top was, I mean, it wasn't very big. It was maybe 10 feet. Anyway, over the top of the city, and the head of it was a dragon. And the dragon began to like try to blow fire, but it couldn't do that. It only could blow smoke. It wasn't able to fulfill what they had hoped it would fulfill. It couldn't do that. And so, from your point of view, your hands, I could see your hands.
What do you mean? Me there?
Yeah.
Where?
You're the one who climbed that mountain.
Oh, me climbing the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Sorry, I got sidetracked with that outfit.
That's okay. No.
I was trying to see if I could pinpoint where they were from, but it was definitely like a samurai type outfit. Anyway, so back to where you were standing. I think you're watching all of this happen. And you can start to see that there is like power in your hands, that you kind of been given the power. And it was like a lightning bolt of green that went around your every finger and every hand. So it was very distinctly the color green. Just the lightning though. Almost like an electric shock, like a pulse of power.
Like a superheroes kind of thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
Excuse me.
It wasn't like glowing or anything. It was just around
the hand.
Yeah, and it was just the electric, like lightning almost.
Yeah.
But you could I had the word in my head earlier. You could enforce. You had the power to enforce like destruction upon this
enemy.
This enemy. And it just came in the force of coming from your hands. And it was almost like they shot out these like missiles or something, and it would came down and kind of came into this dragon, poking holes and just destroying the dragon. And so because of the power, and it was the power that was given to you, and you distributed it necessarily to an enemy, to destroy an enemy. And then after that happened, like there was no sign of this enemy people at all. No, nothing. The building, the ancient building, was able to grow, and this is kind of where things get I got a little confused on what was going on, but basically this building was started to grow, and it was humongous. And a couple things I saw taking place here. What began to build was what's that called? Infrastructure. Is the infrastructure the main strength of a building? Is that right?
I'm sorry?
Infrastructure? Is that like the building's support system?
Yeah, infrastructure, yes.
Okay,
yes,
so then this infrastructure...
Or framework, you can call
framework,
it.
yeah. It starts coming, all of a sudden there's this water that's around the outside of this ancient city. And this infrastructure or framework comes up out of the water and kind of builds itself around this city. And it's the reason why it reminded me of a metal framework that when you are starting to build a really like big high rise, it starts out, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, called the scaffold. Scaffold, yes.
Yeah. So it reminded me very much of that. But it was white and clear, almost like glass. It looked like glass to me. So I don't know if it was stronger than it looked or not, but when it was coming out of the water, it was just it was clear, almost like maybe ice, or I don't know, just that's what I was seeing. And it began to build itself almost around the ancient city like this. And then I got the sense that there was to be a wall built up around this city as well. And when I saw that, it looked just like concrete, almost concrete bricks, just kind of over it. But then I started to see just like details of things being made, like I don't know. I can't, just the making and the creating of things, like when you sew leather together, you know, like binding things together to and strengthening things, and just the building and the pieces of things being put together. And so there was so much of that going on that it sort of overwhelmed what I was seeing, and I couldn't really see anymore. Too many little pieces.
Sure.
Coming over to create something over this ancient city. But this thing that was growing up out of the water changed somehow. It wasn't ruins. Like when you first came over the edge, and saw this ancient city, it was like the wind was blowing the sand off of it, and it was ruins. Wow. It wasn't like a city that was well kept. It was just in ruins. It was just a ruins. Yes. And then it kind of started to rise itself up, and that's when the enemy came.
Tried to attack.
To try to attack because they couldn't. Yeah. And
wow.
But then after all that is when it started to grow up. But when it was growing up, it was just like this really solid piece of something.
Yeah. You want to hear something crazy? That is my dream. Norwegians before. About China stuff. I was praying for Chinese stuff recently. Praying I might have work there, So. Crazy stuff. Let me show you, because I want to register in this recording rather than come back to it. At this day, I don't want time to write anything, So I want to only read the last portion. Okay, I can share the dream with you actually. So, Nicole, LaCasse, not so easy. I only read the last portion.
Read the last portion?
Yeah.
The boy seemed shy and fearful about my presence there. I began to have pity on them and tried to engage with one of them.
African children.
Oh, okay. He was quite active and appeared to be a little leader there, and dared to step down. We did not talk in the first, but I was entertained with some delicious and alluring tomatoes. Finishing one, I reached out for another, asking the boy, "Can I?" Suddenly I recognized it was an improper thing to do. These people might have not too much food here, but the boy nodded to me and explained to me that they were not in lack of food. His big brother got all these for them somewhere outside. So I took another one, a big and sweet one, curious how could these people get their food. However, knowing that these little ones would know nothing about it, I did not even bother myself to ask. I bid them farewell and left. I decided to search out the function of the whole place and get to know the secret of it. To my surprise, I now hold the poster of the vision just under my right arm. I opened it and suddenly understood it was not simply a picture after all. It was a secret map of the whole place. Every hidden way was clearly marked. An outlet was just in front of me. I headed that way. I crossed a wooden bridge over a little stream and launched into the dark, rough path. Plants and grass piled up there as if it had been long abandoned. Fear began to seize me. I remembered
It was like a jungle.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you in a jungle before, too.
Yeah.
I remember I was trying to remind myself in the dream that I should endeavor to remember this terrible feeling of desperation and loneliness when I wake up. The intense feeling came when I realized that I did not even know what was the right direction. There was absolutely no light in sight, but I was lucky enough to know intuitively the way before me, marked out on the map. Finally, I fought through the thickness and darkness on a path, and I began to see the light ahead, which made me walk much easier. I reached to an open place somewhere in the dream. I knew it was actually a temple with a cluster of buildings, desolated and unattended for a long time.
It was basically sandy area.
Yeah.
The whole thing was covered by sand.
Lying out in front of me, quite far from the buildings. That's it.
Basically, That temple. Let me
Yeah.
show you another one. It's also the same thing, I believe. It's, later on you learn the Bible and some of the, you restore the ancient ruins, right? So
Yeah.
it's crazy stuff. I don't know how to make those things, so.
Yeah.
When I was quite a young believer, knowing nothing about anything, so if you understand my point, I need to let you go. Seem to be, yeah. Where are we? Finish this and we go. Okay, so. Yeah. Recently, I was thinking about a dream I had about building something, laying a foundation or something like that. So, anyway, I don't quite remember where it was. In this dream I had, there was. I was in the middle forest, encounter certain things. Basically, I decided to walk out of the forest, and the tree began to give way, So, then I walk into a desert place, basically out of this forest there, right? Long we walk in the desert, in the middle of the desert, in the distance, I can see a ruined city buried in the desert, and I would know I need to go to that ruined city, almost like restore it, So, recently, I was, I don't know, YouTube sometimes feed you information you never expected, and I run to this one called the Raphadim. I think it's Raphadim. In the Bible, there's a place where the Amalekites try to attack the Israelites on their way to the Promised Land, where Moses have this standing up place, have a. This is your vision or prophetic impression the other day. I was in your place, and I literally saw that rock. They proposed the hill, said the hill was literally in the middle of this valleyed area and surrounded by flat things, And on top of this, the rock is not there, but on top of this place, they said that's what Moses was standing up and commanding, not praying for the army and releasing support to them, through his prayers. So I don't know. Your vision is pretty weird.
Yeah.
And it's just many things come together. I've been praying for Chinese stuff, and there's some prophetic word given. I've been, teaching Chinese stuff, but didn't intend to do it, and this just so happened. It's just like thing happened. And just more and more you begin doing things. Oh Lord, what do you try to accomplish here? Because I know it's maybe beyond merely teaching the young people Chinese stuff, So, and God has some great work to restore maybe some culture, Asian culture things. Well, sister, thank you so much. I don't know how to make up those things yet. So, do you have a early vision? You said. Don't miss that one. So.
No, it's just the one with the paper, with the rainbow and the black paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you care to pray for me if you have anything else?
Yeah. Yeah. There's just a lot.
Feel free to share.
I don't really have anything to share.
Okay.
It's just too.
Wee-wee?
No, I'm seeing a lot of things that.
Tell me what they are.
It's just really hard to put them into words. I was right before you brought that up. I saw that. I saw Moses again, and I saw that place again. Now, these are two different places, but it's still these ancient ruins because I saw you here years ago, and we've talked about this before, but it's the same place where Moses was, and the land and the ruins.
Oh wow!
It wasn't Chinese, but it was a different set of ruins that I've seen you there. And I think it's where you met with Moses, and on where the fire was and the rock cleft and things
Burning
like that.
bush, yeah. That's crazy.
But I feel like it's all coming together like puzzle pieces.
I'll give you time.
just with you in a position, even it's so funny because even as I'm talking to you earlier about this worship and these different positions and places like that, I don't see that now, but I've seen you in a military position before, and I believe that the Lord is very strongly placing you in this way, and in a military leadership type of way, and the authority of that. There's a lot of authority here, a lot of spiritual authority when it comes to you, and it's coming forth in a vision, in a visual, of a military leader type. And then that's mixing in with this whole, ruins,
Restoration work.
restoration.
It's one and the same thing. Different expressions.
But it's like you're inspecting it. And the first one, you're kind of inspecting it. Seeing you within the ruins, kind of monitoring it, or just kind of
survey it. Survey.
Yeah. Getting counsel from, Moses, or getting counsel from ancient. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
On moving forward, like there's this, and you've always had the maps. On many, many occasions, many visions, you've always had a map.
Oh, blueprint. I remember.
Yeah, there's been a blueprint too. And it changed. It changed. It did change into a blueprint, because before it was just a map of knowing where to go. We're going this way, or having this map to guide and lead, and now it's different.
Building.
Stationary and building.
Yeah.
Upon ancient ways, upon
ancient foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's confirmation. The words. Sorry. I know something ready to come out of you. I don't want to miss it. At the same time, I don't want to drag along, so I'm trying to.
Well, I definitely don't want to keep you, but it just doesn't.
No,
you know what I mean? It doesn't flow so smoothly that I can
definitely
grab hold of it.
You can
wanna...
take your time. Yeah. Sometimes I used to have those prophetic flow. I don't understand it. So I don't understand. I experienced it, but I don't necessarily understand what's going on with you. So, spirit flow, prophetic flow is almost like it's detached. There's huge attachment.
Yeah.
Let me not interrupt you in a sense. So. I don't experience those things often. It's recent years.
I just don't want to leave something unfinished, and I feel the Spirit very strongly within me, urging me to bring something, but I have to know what He's wanting me to bring. So I guess I'll just share what I'm seeing.
You can take your time.
Okay.
I absolutely no hurry whatsoever. This is why I asked you here first. I let you in just because I need to go to the rest a little bit. If you allow me to go, is that okay?
Please, yeah.
Glory to God in the highest. Glory to God in the highest. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Have you seen this building before?
This building. No, not exactly this one, but I'm familiar with the building there. So those constructors, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a temple, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't get this elephant out of my mind. There's this elephant, and that building is just called an elephant building, the White Elephant Building. So.
You kidding me? You named the elephant building?
Yeah, and then there's this one that looks like an elephant that's in Bangkok, but that's not what I said. The other one that I lost, that one was more.
It's the elephant building.
Yeah.
Called the elephant building.
Yeah, that one's called an elephant building.
Mm.
That one was like the white elephant something.
Yeah.
But for some reason I just can't shake that word elephant and the building elephant. Yeah, that's called China's White Elephant.
Okay.
Ghost cities, lonely airports, desolate. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, there might be something abandoned, which is common in China these days. So, yeah.
Oh. Okay. So back when I was in this ship, there was different places where people would eat, or eat and meet. And then like the higher in rank that you were, you had
gathering place. Yeah.
a more kind of
tiny.
Yeah. So in this captain's quarters type area, there was this long table there. And it was like a place to eat. It was also like a place to
gather.
Right. To like make decisions and things like that.
Yeah.
And just before in the spirit, just feeling strongly about that place. I'm not sure why. Just strategy, hearing the word strategy.
Reminded me of one of my dreams. You remind me a lot of my dreams. Very spiritual dream. I record it, but I don't expound it. It just seems self-absorbing. The table reminded me of one of the table where I discussed war strategy with my father. So yeah, as a young general, or as a prince. So. Oh, we are wearing war attire like you described. Actually, so I don't exactly know what war attire we're wearing. I don't think it's modern, it's Asian, So go ahead. Called the commander's table.
Yeah.
Lay out the strategy, how to arrange the campaign. So yeah. Why the elephant? Am I interrupting you?
No,
sorry.
no. I just I can't stop seeing that place of the exact place that you're describing, and just it's really strongly in my mind right now. Just that place.
But it's different than the Asian place, huh?
Yeah.
Is it the same place or different?
Just the idea of a like the commander's table or whatever you had just said.
Oh,
that
okay.
that place I can't.
You can get out there.
I can't.
I'll tell you the story. So after that dream, I was in the dream. There was a war raging. I was in the tent. You have tent. You have two different entrances. That means entrance, the side entrance. And I was sitting at the table, and I call it a blueprint. Really, is a war strategy. It's a blueprint and a war strategy at the same time. This is very confusing to describe in rational mind, but in the dream, it totally making sense. And on the other side, close to the main entrance, and there were my father sitting at the head of the table. He was war tired. He was a head general in a sense. I was the general ready to command the army for the campaign. So discussing the strategy going on, and there were under generals supposed to let down command doing things. So, but as we talking, we decide on the strategy already what to do. Yin comes on the side way, which is close to the opposite side of the commander table. My father sitting on the head, so I was on this side, close to the only person, I think on his right hand in a sense. Because it matters in the dream, so I remember those positions. So I'm the young prince, basically, maybe in war, but never really engaged a campaign like that in significance, So, but I was the one supposed to lead, so the army is supposed to be under my command. So we studied the strategy. We decided this strategy, the next level of campaign has to be totally changed under my command with his council. We're going to change. It's a time to attack, basically, rather than, campaign goes in phases, right? So we have suffered some losses, some are defeat in a sense, and right now we just like said, no, we can't do that anymore. Let's change strategy so that we can win the whole battle, and chase down the whole army.
Wow.
We know we're gonna win because we're beating for this time, so in the dream it doesn't make sense, so it just happened. I've never been a general, so I never see God as a general either, so people come and argue, supposed to think like a spiritual, like a militant, like a general, what do you do? I have that dream, so, and I'm in this position, spiritual dream, spiritual assignment. People just don't know what they're talking about, so you're in this position, what do you do with your life? You have to think like that, right? So that's your mission. But people don't, in those positions, don't have those callings. It's an alien picture to them. They think we or spiritualize things, so it was a burden for me because when I shared those dreams, the feedback was not that positive, so I was interested in warfare or whatever, so I'll never presume I can be some kind of leader, right? So, and but in comes those two old generals. So when generals they rough, but they have arrogance, with the guys fighting, they were capable generals as well. But from old generation, what I considered, my father obviously stand up, but it's like they try to pair themselves with the father, as if they look at me as an older generation, uncle, like that. Which is not, I don't know, in my dream I don't have good experience with my former generations. And in this case the same thing happened. So they were talking, I began to humbly, quietly try to explain what they're going to do with the discussion already laid out, right? With the blueprint or the campaign map, if you will. And they brushed aside and basically look at me as when not qualified, not supposed to tell them what to do. And I was waiting, I can't argue with them, so I'm waiting for them to really listen to the strategy, observe the wisdom, the intent, therefore they can change their mind, right? So, because we have been afflicted with defeat. And this will change everything, so. But they don't even have patience to study that because they just have a very, very bad impression who I am. They just, who are you to meddle with our war or something like that nature. I think that's their attitudes. And so back and forth, this I tried many times to, for them to quiet them down so I can release on what is we discuss, so, and decide upon. Finally, they just like so stubborn and so unbecoming. They literally don't want to look at me, so through a fate. And my father sitting there without a word. He's just always everything. I sometimes look at him. Can you help me out? So tell them to be here. So I mean, you give me a command, but you don't tell them. So I mean, the father's like, he didn't say a word. This is, he's like emotionless. Emotionless. I mean, without emotion, it's opposite. Oh, okay. It's like my job to do anything. Finally, I just said, well, this is good enough. I tried, so I tried many times, not working. So I began to set up, grab with a map, in the general, war, general attire. So everybody is a general, so everybody wear some outfit, so. And I began to walk out from the major entrance, which is very important in this stream. I don't know why. Because you don't go into that place with a side entrance. It's a king's tent, king's quarter. It's commander table. You don't have to go sideways. And you got to go to the front gate, so I always know. I never go to the side door, but this is almost like I never get out of the tent either. I'm just first time getting out of the tent. I don't quite remember the detail now. But it's important to go through a process tent through the front door. Tent they have front open entrance, right? So I instantly parted, rose up and grabbed my map. I said, I know, guys, I lost my patience. There's a war raging. Casualties suffering. I don't have time to waste on you guys, so I need to go. I need to engage the war to do what I need to do, so. As I begin to rose up, begin to walk it out, I suddenly recognize their foolishness. I look like, oh my God, he's the one going to command the army. He's the one, he's a prince, he's the son of God, so he's just, we are talking about not some just nobodies, right? We can treat with contempt or whatever, and dismissal, so we better listen to him. More important, we need to really show honor to him, so he's not happy with us anymore. So it was like suddenly become very, very terrified, very much terrified at that point. I mean, terror struck their heart. They don't know how to behave, so they try to appease to me, when people suddenly, you understand my point, they recognize, they would try to speak kind words. I said, no, guy, I don't have time for you guys anymore. I need to do what I need to do. Your time is over. So I had to. There's a war waging. And any moment is precious. So, and time is up for this thing to be carried out. So the campaign is waging, whatever the word. So they began to follow me around. I don't know exactly what was next. Basically, I went out the main chances to follow around, try to come to the position I really, so, but totally with different attitudes. In all this, there was in me, there was, I never had, in the dream, I was always confident. In real life, not very. Right? Super struggle. Who am I? I don't know. What's God up to? God, what's up to? Those days are formative year of my walk. So, some wonderful mighty thing to me. I hear it, but I don't believe I can be it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's crazy, sister. And then he imagine, attach things, your own desire, imagination, and never thought about this was the inner man, you know? About the spiritual reality. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This morning, I was telling Rachel, I said, hey, did you listen to that? Oh, yeah. So I said, you know why I shared that with you? Why? Because the elephant. What? So, that sister we mentioned, she shared the elephant in the room, you know? So, the elephant in the room, she want to talk about some sensitive topic, you know? I don't think, maybe I miscommunicated Rachel, not her fault. Well, on Wednesday night, I guess the night, they did some worship. And Kim was mentioning this story because when Naomi was young, she's like elephant, you know? She was enamored by elephant, you know? So she carries this elephant toy, whatever, you know, always. You know, she was a little girl, and one day they were waiting, this is called the circuit, you know? They have an elephant make a show, you know? And they were able to watch the elephant when the elephant come around. The little girl, you know, look it up, and then even terrified almost, you know, by the big creature. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Nobody heard it. I don't think my phone heard it first. My phone didn't hear it, right? This is crazy stuff. And I thought, wow, I want to see that imagery. I asked Tim and said, hey, can you show me the picture, you know? Well, look at this big elephant, right? Must be very funny, you know, so. The next thing I came back home, on the front page of the YouTube, which I didn't use first, or I said, hey, look, this picture was taken under the elephant. I said, what? First, the elephant caught your attention, my YouTube with pictures. So he was taking under the elephant. And the elephant talk with each other. Why is a man is underneath? This is the title, you know. So I said, what? So I began to watch the video because of the interest, you know. So I want to know, right? So or if I just bypass and don't think about it, you know. I mean, this is in the front page. You know, open up and 1, 2, that's it, you know. So show up. Wow, this guy on the elephant. And the elephant have the man taking pictures, watching the video. He called his friends around. So 3 elephants all together. This guy was on there shooting the picture. They were talking, had a huge conversation. Back and forth talking, you know, elephant talk, you know. I said, what in the world? This guy is crazy. Under the elephant, you know, anytime. He just hear all the conversation going on. It lasts for, I don't know, long time, you know, 5 to 10 minutes, I don't know exactly, you know. I watch, I think, oh my God, well, that's interesting. I just remembered, oh yeah, I was asking God to give me an imagery of how the elephant come to you, you know, how the elephant will look like. That is very interesting. So I didn't share with them, I think I shared with them only. And I thought, well, okay, drop that. The next day, the Lord said, check out those prophetic words with the sister. Okay. I mean, it's a long prophetic word. I said, I don't have time for this. I need to go, you know. So, but the title was Elephants in the Whole Room. And that's where day. I said, okay, I can listen to it. I still not finished the lesson. Because it's too long, you know. So,
yeah.
And, but I've been talking about the spirit of witchcraft all through. And I don't know how to relate those things. And so, but the sister was talking, eventually he's one of the elephants in the room is witchcraft. Now she has no idea that Ben had a vision about witchcraft in Kenya. And literally the spirit strong man in Kenya is a witchcraft, right? So I talked to Wes and tried to address some spiritual warfare over certain aspect of life, talking about the spirit of witchcraft, you know, so produce a fear. Well, I didn't intend to come, you know, I walk away from those things. Well, am I doing the right thing, you know? So Then here's the elephant in the room talking about this witchcraft is an elephant in the room for our spiritual walk. You better talk about it, deal with it, So there you are, And talking about elephant, I have no idea what you see, why you see it. I think most likely it's counterfeit something, So I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well, that vision that I saw with you when something was being built up, I don't think it was good. I don't know. It was an elephant that was being raised up out of the ground.
Okay.
And I did see some circus type things.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything about it, and forgive me if that was wrong. I just, sometimes I feel like I might put stuff on things, and I don't want to say them if it's me thinking it.
Sure, yeah.
But I can see it, and it was that point of view. It was from right at the bottom, looking up like that.
Okay.
And it was like a hollow metal elephant.
Yeah.
And then now that those weak infrastructure makes more sense, or the weak frame.
Yeah.
And even the wall being concrete versus this picture that I showed you of even the elephant building or whatever. It looked like a wall, like a concrete wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like concrete to me. Just from far away. I know it's not, but...
It is.
In the shape of an elephant.
Oh, yeah. That's like, in China? That's in China?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just a concrete wall, like cinder blocks.
That's in Bangkok. That's in Thailand.
Thailand, yeah. So it's just made, the wall was cylinders.
Yeah.
So those little, they have the circle inside, they're about this big.
Sure.
And then you, with like concrete, plastering them together.
Yeah.
So everything didn't seem
proper,
strong, or proper, or organized or put together.
Yeah.
Properly at all.
Yeah.
Whatever was being built.
Yeah.
It's like you take down the enemy and then something should be built properly.
Concretely, yeah.
And it wasn't.
Wasn't done right.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. I was observing this, give approval.
Well, you didn't know. You didn't. I didn't see you do anything after you destroyed that dragon.
Yeah.
I didn't see you do anything after that. I can't even see it, and I can't. The point of view that I'm having as it's rising up, I don't know what point of view I'm the person that I'm seeing it from.
Yeah.
But I'm standing in this city, and I'm seeing the water, and it's almost like a moat, but it's not a lot of water. It's shallow water.
Oh, I see.
And out of the shallow water, these things, and they're detailed. They're detailed, structure that come up over it.
I see.
And then this hollow metal, it's almost like sheet metal that this elephant is built out of. And then the framework over it.
I think the point is you're not supposed to build a city there to begin with. It's the place LaCasse tag, whatever tag, is supposed to be a journal place, and it's in the wilderness. There's nothing to live upon.
Yeah.
So it's a temporary place.
Yeah.
So I think. However, that's interesting. Reminding me the 2.5 tribes refused to cross Jordan River, on the side. So I don't want to apply too much, but I have been concerned and really curious about what's God up to with all this going on in our midst. Are we ready to build a God kingdom culture, or just come back to as we doing things, right? So it's a big concern for me. So. And the elephant is also an imagery of what party?
Republican
Party, yes. So I think it's a political, familiar, and religious spirit, giving imagery of what life should like. And it's embodied maybe in different arenas, but it's the same imagination, especially in the American Christian mind, what life should be like. So if only God fulfill this is what it should be. So You know,
Yeah, I didn't.
but God's kingdom is not according to those patterns. And to be challenged. So
Yeah.
it's only further to move on in the real temple in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And and just the strong sense of the position that you're in or being put in, a really strong spiritual sense of authority there.
There by there
Well,
you
I
mean
no, not there in that vision.
okay.
Just in seeing your dream and having these men kind of ignore the position that you were in at first.
We're dismissive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's what I mean. Like
I'm not upset in the dream.
No.
I just try to be patient, but my time ran out. So I had to do what I need to do. So.
And so I just see you even here now, like the vision that I'm seeing is like men putting their hands on your shoulders on both sides of you, and they're not from this world. It's a spiritual man from another realm or whatever. Not whatever. I don't mean to be disrespectful.
Sure.
But it's not a vision. It's like literal. It's like.
Yeah, that confuses me. It's not a vision.
I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I.
No, you don't need to be
struggle
sorry about anything.
With.
What do you mean by literal?
I mean, in a spiritual realm, there are men laying their hands on your shoulders.
I see. Okay.
In the way of authority, like.
So you see it's happening. It's not a vision. Implying something.
Yeah. It's
you don't need to.
It's a heavy spiritual presence, like the presence, the not heavy in a bad way, like the strong spiritual presence I feel.
Weighty.
Yeah. Spiritual presence that I feel. It's just like a real presence of.
Who are they?
I don't know. I feel like they're, priests. Or, I don't know if they're priests, but I see that thing that they wore back then.
The plate.
Yeah, I see that thing, and I see them, that they have an authority to give to you, kind of. Like, they have authority. These men have authority in the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
And that authority is being put upon your shoulders. Your man, like put upon your shoulders.
To pass on.
Yeah, like the laying on of hands is meant to pass that authority onto you. So it's almost like you're sitting, they have their hands on your shoulders, and out in front is this armor plate of a priest, and it's just kind of like floating there and up in front.
I see.
But strangely enough, I'm seeing a likeness to Abraham Lincoln, if that makes any sense. You know how he's sitting in that chair in the... I don't know where that's at in Washington. I've been there, actually.
Well, yeah, Lincoln Memorial.
Is it the Lincoln Memorial? I see that. I see that being just something of significance. I don't know what that's about. I know that he did a lot of things. I know that he obviously had authority, and I know that he, did some things that were important. I don't know why he's showing up in my mind right now, but I see him sitting in that chair. So strange. no idea why he's important right now.
My apologies to hold you back. You know, your mother had a lot of things going on with your life because young man. So, tell me, apologize to Justin. Okay, so
No, he's
it's okay.
yeah, he
Can I get some food for you guys? No?
he is handling some things at home
Oh, okay.
right now. So
Okay.
he was glad that you asked to meet so that I could go.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
He wanted me to
That's
to
nice.
kind of go and
Okay,
so that
Okay.
he could kind of handle some things with the
okay.
kids,
I see.
which is really good. So
Okay. Can I treat you dinner now?
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I am hungry.
You're hungry, yes. Yeah. Do you have anything else before we do anything?
No, I don't. I just
Okay.
it's very
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
Very different. I wish I could be more clear. I don't
You,
like not.
you're definitely in a different flow, so
Yeah.
which I don't quite understand.
I don't understand.
That's okay.